right now we're going to work on recall. A lot of people have issues with trying to get their dog to come back to them when they need them. So Lexi already actually knows a recall, so I'm going to change her word so that it kind of gives you a better idea of exactly how to start the behavior. When you choose a word for recall, it really doesn't matter what word you use. She doesn't know all of the English words anyway. So I've had people use the word pineapple and cheese and yippee and all kinds of fun words. The one thing I do want you to remember is to always use this word in a happy, high-pitched voice. That's one of the rules of recall. And here's where it gets tough, is if your dog's in the street and there's a car coming and you're just really stressed and it comes out very forcefully, not because you're trying to be mean or rude to your dog, but just because you're terrified that the car is coming, try really hard to remember to say it nicely, because your dog doesn't understand what's going on around them. And to your dog, he's going to be like, whoa, why is mom yelling at me? And I don't want your dog to have that little hesitation or that pause. I want your dog to hear this word and think, yes, it's a party at mom. And I want them to come running and happy and not even hesitate in the least. So to that end, the rules are, for recall, use a happy word, happy, high-pitched word. You can use the word come or here. You just want to remember to say it nicely. You always want to use a high-value treat for this behavior. I always want to really reinforce my dogs for coming to me when called. And think about all the distractions that you're going to be using this with. Your dog could be playing with another dog. A squirrel could be in the backyard. There could be something really stinky smelly. And you really need to get your dog to come to you no matter what. So you really want to make it great when he comes. So I'm always going to use a high-value treat. And when my dog gets here, I'm going to celebrate too. And I mean celebrate. It looks kind of silly, but my dogs will come back to me no matter what. And that's what counts. That's what I need. It's a safety behavior, and I need to count on this word. And then the other thing I want you to think about is don't use this word when you're calling your dog in to crate them or to end playtime, for example, because in that way, you're kind of tarnishing your word. So your dog thinks, wow, I came back to them, but then she put me in the crate and she left. That's no fun for your dog. That makes the outside or whatever your dog was doing much more reinforcing than coming to you when called. So if you really want your dog to listen, pay your dog really well. Treats, love. One of my dog loves to be loved on. The other one loves to play tug with a toy. Whatever your dog loves, play with your dog. If you do need to crate your dog, for example, call them in 10 minutes early so that your dog doesn't associate your recall word with being put in the crate. Okay? All right, so I'm going to change my word for Lexi. Lexi, come here, girl. Come on. Touch. Yes, good girl. Come here. All right. Good girl. Thank you very much. All right, let's come over here. Lexi, find it. Good girl. Purple! Yes! Good girl! Nice job, Lexi! Here you go, babe. There you go. Yes! That was such a good girl. Such a good girl. Nice job. Nice job. Find it. Purple! Yes! Good girl! Oh my goodness, you're the best dog. You do that. I know. I'm going to get you the treat. You're the best dog. There you go, baby. Good job. So what I like to mark, you notice that I'm saying yes when Lexi turns. That's because in the beginning, Lexi doesn't know what the word purple means. To her, it's not a recall word, it's just a word. So I want to mark her with my verbal yes when she turns and starts running back to me. Find it. Purple. Yes, good girl. There you go. Nice job. Good girl. The other thing I want to point out is that we're learning this inside the house. You always want to start where the distractions are the lowest because that'll help your dog be successful and be able to pay attention to you for learning. Isn't that right? All right, one more time. All right, find it. Purple. Yes, good girl. Good. Nice job, Lexi. to use with recall while you're still working on it in the house is called puppy ping pong. In between, having two people with your dog in between, you call your dog to you using the recall word, and you celebrate and give your dog the treats and love on your dog, and then the other person does it. So when you see in my notes that it says puppy ping pong, that's where your dog learns to go back and forth in between you. The other thing that is my very favorite is to play hide and seek. So you would take, if you're by yourself, you can take a treat and toss it and say, find it. And while your dog goes to get it, you might step behind the counter and bend down, kind of hiding a little bit. You might step behind a door or around a corner. The point is for your dog to have to come find you for that word. Now your dog begins to learn that even when you're out of sight and he hears that word, your dog's going to come to you. So remember to play hide and seek in the house, because every time you're playing, it's a terrific brain game, but it's also teaching your dog that your word is fantastic and that when he hears that word, really good things happen. And that's when you're going to get your dog to come to you in the face of distractions outside. Good girl. Good girl. Find it.